Can climate change make us sicker? Climate change is constantly on the news these days. You can't avoid it. We hear about how it will affect the geography of the planet. Heavier rains will cause coasts to flood in some areas, while a drought condition will create deserts in others. We have also been told about energy concerns. How warmer weather caused by global warming will require the use of more air conditioning, which will harm the Earth's atmosphere. These global weather changes will even affect our transportation system. More intense storms will disturb air travel and flood roads, railways, and transportation systems. The media love to report on the topic of planetary weather changes caused by global warming. Many TV programs and documentary films are made about it every year, and it seems that every week a new book is published about climate change and the future of our planet. So, we know that climate change can inconvenience us and even put our lives in immediate danger. But can change the climate actually make us sicker? Dr. Edward Malbec, Director of George Mason University Center for Climate Change, thinks the answer is yes. And as that, this question has mostly been ignored by researchers and scientists until now. He has written that while the transportation, economic, and environmental implications of climate change have increasingly become a priority for the United States, the health implications have been largely neglected. Can climate change make us sicker? Climate change is constantly on the news these days. You can't avoid it. We hear about how it will affect the geography of the planet. Heavier rains will cause coasts to flood in some areas, while drought conditions will create deserts in others. We have also been told about energy concerns. How warmer weather caused by global warming will require the use of more air conditioning, which will harm the Earth's atmosphere. These global weather changes will even affect our transportation systems. More intense storms will disrupt air travel and flood roads, railways, and transportation systems. The media love the reports on the topic of planetary weather changes caused by global warming. Many TV programs and documentary films are made about it every year, and it seems that every week a new book is published about climate change and the future of our planet. So, we know that climate change can inconvenience us and even put our lives in immediate danger. But can change in the climate actually make us sicker? Dr. Edward Malbec, Director of George Mason University Center for Climate Change, thinks the answer is yes, and adds that this question has mostly been ignored by researchers and scientists until now. He has written that while the transportation, economic, and environmental implications of climate change have increasingly become a priority for the United States, the health implications have been largely neglected.
Perhaps one reason for this neglect is the size of the problem. Because the issues are so big and complex, it can be difficult to follow the chains of cause and effect from start to finish. In other words, it's not always clear how weather can affect our physical health, especially in the long term. However, experts are slowly beginning to address the question, and international organizations are trying to raise awareness. In a recently released report, the Global Humanitarian Forum estimates that around 300,000 people die each year due to climate change. This number is larger than ever, and predictions are that it will only grow in the future. One estimate says that 20 years from now, as many as 500,000 people annually could lose their lives as a direct result of problems created by climate change. To understand what these problems might look like, let's look at two situations that have a direct impact on people's health. One predicted consequence of global warming is that sea levels will rise worldwide as polar ice caps melt at an accelerated rate. This salty seawater will infiltrate low-lying streams, rivers, and underground freshwater aquifers, the sources of drinking water for millions of people worldwide. Because many of these people live in poor communities, they will be unable to move to areas with safer drinking water. Drinking saltier water will have a negative impact on the health of people for generations to come. One group that will be dramatically affected by the extra salt intake is pregnant women. More salt will lead to higher blood pressures in some mothers and cause complications around delivery of babies. After birth, too much salt will cause serious health issues in babies that may affect their heart.
The change in global weather patterns is also having a direct impact on people's health right now. The painful and sometimes fatal dengue, pronounced dengue fever or bone break fever causes severe headaches as well as muscle and joint pain. Dengue fever is carried by a type of mosquito typically found in warmer areas. However, in the increasing temperatures caused by global warming, this mosquito is living longer and turning up in surprising places, including higher, traditionally cooler locations. As a result, these highland communities have seen their first outbreaks of dengue fever. Because the disease didn't exist in the area before, the communities are not prepared to handle the medical emergency, which has health officials very concerned. The health problems brought on by climate change are not going to fix themselves, and they're certainly not going to go away. Whilst some countries are not only beginning to wake up to this issue, one country has started to act. In 2008, climate experts and health professionals in Ethiopia came together to plan for the future. They looked specifically at the question, how exactly do the weather and climate affect health? They also considered that kind of climate change information healthcare workers needed to be able to do their job effectively and protect the population.
That meeting has already resulted in action on one of Ethiopia's major problems, malaria. It is estimated that more than 50 million people in the country may be at risk of contracting the disease. In response to the situation, the Ethiopia government is now using the latest technology to gather statistics on rainfall, temperature, and humidity. This information is then used to map out area of potential malaria outbreaks. This allows officials to prepare for a possible increase in malaria cases well before it occurs. Ethiopia is demonstrating that when healthcare and weather professionals work together in this way, time, money, and most importantly, life can be saved. Of course, we need to deal with the causes of climate change in order to show the climbing temperatures. But even if we manage to organize the global efforts that begin to address these causes, we are already feeling the effect today, and they will only be worse tomorrow. As the effort in Ethiopia demonstrates, money should be invested now to find ways to address the health impact of the new, hotter climate. Global warming may be a certainty. Human suffering, however, does not need to be.